Am I the a-hole for refusing to be around my step-grandma after telling her to shove it when she insisted on me calling her grandma? I am 14 female. My dad died suddenly when I was 7. He was only 32. I have very fond memories of him and how much he loved me and how much I loved him. When he died, I was devastated. I remember screaming in the night, having to sleep in my mom's bed and reverting back to calling her mommy. It didn't help that my mom, 36 female, was pregnant with my little sister Holly, 6, so it was a really rough time. My mom started dating Andy for 4 years ago. We didn't meet him until a year later and I really liked him and now I love him. He knows my dad is still my dad and has never once in the past 4 years tried to replace him. He has always said he is there if I want him. It is different for Holly as she never met our dad, so Holly now calls Andy daddy. I say to people Andy is my dad, but I call him by name. Nobody ever has had an issue with this. Even Andy's family have been very welcoming. The problem lies with Andy's mom, Candy. My mom and Andy got married at the beginning of this year and we are starting the process of Andy officially adopting me and Holly. We were both asked if we wanted and both said yes. I have my bio dad's name, so I agreed to keep the name but hyphenated to add on Andy's name. The same will be done for Holly. My mom is also pregnant again, so with all that in mind, Candy has been badgering me to call her grandma since Holly and I will soon have her family name and the baby will have the name too. Don't want to call her grandma. I call her Candy. My mom and bio dad's parents are all still alive and are involved in our lives, especially my bio dad's parents. I call them grandma and grandpa. Candy keeps pushing that I can call her grandma to instead of Candy, but I keep telling her I don't want to. She kept annoying me, so one day when we were round for dinner I told her to shove it and I stormed out. Andy came out after me and he took us home, but since then I have refused to be around her since she won't stop bringing up calling her grandma. Mom and Andy are on my side and both have sternly told Candy that she needs to stop and that if she doesn't we will no longer be going round to see her as a whole family, just them and Holly, or even just them. My step-aunt, Andy's sister, is sympathetic to me but has stuck up for her mom by saying she's 70 and it's confusing cause Holly calls her grandma and she just wants to feel as part of my life as my other grandparents are, especially since we are the only grandkids as my step-aunt doesn't have kids. She has said Candy probably is lonely and doesn't feel included and might be pushy but is probably doing it out of love. She does not understand that she is a part of my life like they are and that calling her Candy doesn't make her any less my grandma. So am I the a-hole? Subscribe and follow Baker Street Tales for more videos.
My girlfriend 21 female rejected my 21 male proposal because it didn't meet her expectations. For context, my girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years and over Thanksgiving weekend I took her on a week-long trip to Hawaii with the intention of proposing to her. I even asked her parents for their blessing and showed them the ring a couple days before we left for the trip. We have talked about marriage before and we've both agreed that we want to marry each other, so the idea of it is nothing new and actually a frequent topic. The issue is that she wanted a grand wedding proposal similar to the ones you might see on TikTok or Instagram. Big marry me letters on the beach, rose petals on the ground, light, mariachi, etc. I was absolutely on board on doing that for her if it made her happy, but that was something to be planned at a beach back at home since I wouldn't have the resources to plan it for a trip to somewhere we've never been, especially because we booked everything as a last-minute vacation just 5 days prior. Ironically, after she sent me videos of people vacationing in Hawaii, I believed this would be a great opportunity though. I planned to propose to her on the day we arrived. I carried the ring in my pocket all day waiting for a good opportunity to ask her, knowing it wasn't going to be a grand proposal like she had hoped, but I thought because of the circumstances she would be happy. However, we had some completely unnecessary argument and I decided to postpone because I didn't want to do it after a bitter day. Second day there, we had booked a reservation to go parasailing. I didn't want to risk losing the ring, so I left it back at the hotel. We didn't get back to the hotel until 5 p.m. and we started getting ready to go back out in the city. By this time it was already starting to get dark. She said before that she would want a sunset proposal, and knowing that I couldn't organize any of the other things she had in mind for a proposal, the sunset was the only thing I had. I missed my chance on that, but we still went out to dinner and drinks. We came back to the hotel afterward because she was tired, I was too. It was an eventful day. I let her rest for a bit and around around 10:30 I convinced her to go on a night walk with me at the beach. This was when I planned to propose to her. We got to the beach. The city was very much still awake, and the lights of the buildings and streets combined with the bright moon illuminated the ocean beautifully. We stood there hugging and kissing, both knowing it was a beautiful and intimate moment. I started telling her how much I love her and how I want to be with her my entire life, etc. As I started to get on my knee and reaching my pocket for the ring, she stopped me. "I hope you're not about to propose to me right now. This isn't what I expected." My heart dropped. I got back up and stood speechless before starting to walk back to the hotel. I was in no mood to talk about the situation and told her we should talk about it tomorrow. We talked about it the next day and she insists on me doing it again, but this time the right way during sunset. I tell her I can't do that because she rejected me already. She tells me she didn't reject it, just simply it wasn't how she would have wanted it to happen. We spent the next 4 days in Hawaii in a very tense state, but we had to deal with it until we got back home. We lived together, and for the first night she went to sleep with her parents. Now she came back, but I don't want to be home with her there. What can be the outcome of the situation? I obviously didn't want this to happen during our vacation, but I can't see it other way. Is this a valid reason for me not wanting to be with her anymore? I also don't think it's right for me to redo the proposal. Subscribe Baker Street Tales for more stories.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my mom with my brother's wedding after she chose him over me? Okay, so I 22 female need to know if I'm the asshole here, because my family's making me feel like I am. A bit of context. My mom, 43 female, has always favored my younger brother, Liam, 20 male. Like, it's not even subtle. He was the golden boy, and I was, well, the independent one. Whatever. I've learned to deal with it, but this time, it went too far. So, a few months ago, Liam proposed to his girlfriend, Emma, 19 female. Honestly, I'm happy for them, but my issue is how my mom handled something that happened just last week. Emma's bridal shower was being planned, and they asked me to help out. I'm pretty good at organizing stuff, so I agreed. But here's the thing, my mom kept giving me tasks that made it clear she didn't trust me. She literally told me not to mess things up like usual. WTF. Right? Then, the big slap in the face. Mom asked me to step down from helping completely and let her and my aunt handle everything. Why? Because apparently Emma was worried I'd make it about myself. Like, excuse me, I've been nothing but supportive, and now I'm getting pushed aside. When I told my mom how hurtful this was, she said, "It's Liam's special day. Don't ruin it for him." I was so mad I told her she was always picking him over me. And of course, she brushed it off, saying I was overreacting as usual. Now Liam's wedding is in 2 months, and my mom asked me to help set up the venue and do other last-minute stuff. I flat out refused. I told her I wasn't going to help with a wedding where I wasn't respected or trusted. She called me selfish and said family helps family no matter what. I'm just done with feeling like the backup kid. My dad, who's always been more fair, thinks I'm justified. But now my aunts and cousins are blowing up my phone saying I'm being petty and that I should grow up and get over it. Am I the a-hole for finally standing up for myself and saying no? Don't forget to follow and subscribe Baker Street Tales for more updates and stories.
Am I the a-hole for not celebrating my birthday with my wife after she danced with her ex at a wedding? My wife and I have been married for 10 years, and we have a 7-year-old boy. Last week was my sister-in-law's wedding, and during one of the dances, my wife's ex asked if he could dance with her. My wife told her ex she'd speak with me first, and I told my wife I wasn't really comfortable with it. But my wife was really insistent, and I reluctantly said sure. My wife thanked me for not making it a big deal, but I just felt really deflated about the entire thing. When we got home, my wife saw how I was feeling and apologized again, and I told her to just let it go. The whole week was sort of deflating, and my wife promised me she had a really special birthday planned for me, but I wasn't really looking forward to it. My birthday was yesterday, and when my wife wished me in the morning and made me breakfast, I told her up front that I didn't want to celebrate with her, and I wanted to take our son out the whole day and get some father-son bonding time in. My wife looked really sad after I said that, but I was just looking forward to spend the rest of the day with my son. And I did have a really good day outside with my son. We did a lot of activities. We even visited my parents. We had breakfast, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at different restaurants. My son was having a great time. We went to a movie, different playgrounds, a live show, and a couple of other things too. When I got back home at night, I was in a really happy mood, and my son was cheerful and bubbly too. My wife asked me how the day went, and I told her it went great. My wife did give me a birthday gift, but she still looked sad. When I woke up today, I saw my wife crying next to me. She said yesterday was the most hurt she had ever felt in her life. I did feel really bad about it, but I told my wife I needed some space from her after she had done at her sister's wedding. But am I the whole? Do follow Baker Street Tales for updates.